And welcome back. Continuing to work on the aft section of the tail cone. Also working on the static port system still. As you can see, I've got the new piece, as I discussed before. I kind of focused more on getting to the correct drill size when I was using the universal drill bit last time, and didn't focus so much on which hole I should be using it on. So I had to order a new piece, and it finally came in, and here I am going through the same steps that I had before. So you trim off some excess portions according to the instructions and where it tells you to cut. And once you get that trimmed off, then there's the 3 holes on the aft section of this piece. I believe, if I recall correctly, you match drill all 3 to a size 30, and then the center hole is going to be enlarged. I believe it was to a 5/8. And again, as I talked about in the previous video, the larger hole is where your tie down connection is going to come through for the tail section of the aircraft. And so here I'm just going through again, making sure that I'm using the right bit and making sure I'm drilling into the correct hole, and this time using tape, which I should have done the first time, to mark the holes that I don't want to drill. So you learn from your mistakes. So get everything set up, we'll get that drilled in, and then we'll continue on. Also, as an update, in one of my previous videos I discussed that I had issues with my Piper Cherokee, plane that I flew to Oregon a couple weekends ago and flew back, and had an issue about 5 miles out from my home air base, as you call it, I guess, where I station my airplane out of. And when I decided to descend from 3,000 to 2,000 feet to come to traffic pattern altitude, pulled back on the throttle, and the engine just started trying to die. It was vibrating very violently. In fact, I looked out at the wing, and you could visibly see it vibrating significantly. So landed and got in touch with my mechanic. We were able to finally do a bore scope on the engine just a couple days ago, and I was hoping that it would be just a stuck valve, a stuck exhaust valve. It was our thought. And once we got the bore scope in there and looked at the number 2 cylinder, it looked like Swiss cheese. When we went to look for the exhaust valve to see, how bad it was completely missing. So apparently the valve just sheared clean off, not just a break of a piece of the head of the valve, but the whole thing just sheared completely off, and then commenced to play ping pong inside my cylinder. I was fortunate in that it apparently went out the exhaust vent or exhaust port and didn't damage anything on the way out. My mechanic looked at the exhaust itself and looked at the flame arrestor and everything looked fine. So I'm fortunate there. But I am going to have to buy a whole new cylinder and a whole new piston head, and anything else that may go along with that, rings and whatnot. I'm sure I'll probably have to look at replacing. And then also, in the midst of taking everything off to get to the number 2 piston to bore scope it, found out that I discovered a crack in my right side exhaust manifold. So it appeared that it had been weld repaired before, and the crack developed right at the seam of the weld. So I've opted to go ahead and just replace the whole thing. The airplane has 2,100 hours on the airframe. It's a 1964. It's been 700 hours since the last major overhaul. It's time to do some major repairs on this thing, I think. So that's the update. Hopefully I'll be able to get that taken care of sometime soon and get her back in the air. But in the meantime, I'm grounded. In the process of also setting up to install a D10 Alpha, a Dynon D10 Alpha attitude indicator. Purchased the STA from EAA and got the equipment and just need to install it. And then also I think I'll go ahead and take the prop and have it overhauled, and I think I'm going to have them twisted out to a 71 inch instead of a 69 inch pitch to hopefully get a little more speed at cruise than I currently have. So that's the update. Now back to what I'm doing now. I am still working on that aft piece, the aft bottom skin, and I've attached the most aft bulkhead to the bottom skin. Now as you do this and then put it in place, and then once you have it all set in place, you'll attach the rudder to the aft bulkhead there, and then final drill some holes to get it all lined up. So here I am finally attempting to try to figure out how I'm going to put this thing in. As I've discussed a few times in previous videos, I wish I would have left a few rivets out. I could have drilled them out here, but I'm already there. And so start putting everything in, and just a matter of trying to force it. And like I said, the bottom of this piece goes up and over the bottom skin that's already riveted to the frame, and the sides of this piece where it curves up goes underneath the side skins, so it kind of all wedges inside of everything. And it was not easy. It was a lot of mechanical agitation, we'll say, forcing the piece into place, and it took a lot of coercion. I'm not gonna lie, it took a lot of coercion. So as I've said in previous videos, if you are not quite to this point yet, I would recommend maybe halfway between the two bulkheads, where I had the Clecos on and the middle ring bulkhead there, maybe halfway back, stop riveting until you get this bottom piece in, and then finish riveting everything together, just so you can peel the skins back enough to get this piece in. But you know, I was able to manage to get it into place. Like I said, it just took a lot of finagling. So anyway, I'm going to continue to put this piece in and get it all lined up, and then the next video will show the wife helping again to get everything riveted in place. So I'm going to let this run out here. And again, I appreciate all those that continue to watch these videos. If you get a chance, hit that like button for me. All right, we'll see you next time around.